Blah, 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 blah. My favorite food is roasted chicken beak.
Chicken beak? Hey everyone, I'm Steph from cheapskatecook.com and welcome to my kitchen. This is Jet. He is, how old are you?
5.
He's my youngest son and he is the most helpful out of all of my kids in the kitchen. Now you might think a 5-year-old is not that helpful in the kitchen. They shouldn't be around sharp knives or hot stoves or hot ovens. So what in the world can they do in the kitchen? Well, I'm going to talk about that in this video because he's actually irreplaceable in the kitchen. He is so helpful, he is so much fun to have around, and I love you, bud. Thanks. Aw. So let's talk about why my 5-year-old is the most helpful kid in my kitchen. Now for context, I have a 10-year-old, an almost 9-year-old, and then the 5-year-old. And they have all been learning how to cook since the time they were about 3, but we actually just really intentionally started teaching them how to cook about 2 or 3 years ago. So they've been on this adventure using the Kids Cook Real Food course and learning very intentionally how to cook real food and all the foundational skills like knife safety, measuring, stirring. Even I learned things from the Kids Cook Real Food course that I didn't know before. And they have all grown very competent in their particular age range and the kind of the skills that you would expect from a 10-year-old and a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. But why is my 5-year-old the most helpful out of all 3 kids? The reality is that my 10-year-old can take things in and out of the oven, he can use a hot stove, he can use a sharp knife, he just started learning how to grill this summer. He is really helpful in the kitchen and he enjoys making some of his favorite foods and making some of his favorite foods for the whole family. So there have been many times this summer that he's actually made dinner for everyone, and it's a huge blessing, and I'm so grateful that he's learning a skill that he can use the rest of his life, that he's enjoying it, and it's helping our family work together and taking some of the load off of those of us who would have to do it otherwise. My 9-year-old, almost 9-year-old, he is just starting to learn how to use the stove, and he's not quite ready to take things in and out of the oven, but he measures and he stirs and he mixes and he folds batter, and he has his own different set of recipes that he loves making for his family or just for himself. And he's also incredibly helpful in the kitchen. The reality is that even though my older kids bring a lot of valuable skills to the kitchen and great abilities, they can't beat my 5-year-old for one main reason, and we're going to talk about that in this video. Real quick, I would love to hear from you whether or not you let your kids cook in the kitchen. Are you one of those people who prefers like the kitchen is my alone space, or do you bring your kids into the kitchen? Drop a comment below and let me know. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more ways to save money and eat healthy. Honestly, I am more of the kind of person who prefers the kitchen to be my happy place and my alone space. And ideally, I make dinner by turning on some music, getting a fun drink, and I just start cooking. Jet, can you tell me some of your favorite food to make in the kitchen?
Pizza, ice cream, chocolate chip cookies, peanut butter chip cookies,
Yummy.
vanilla chip cookies, chocolate chip vanilla chip cookies.
All the different chip cookies, huh?
Yeah.
What do you do when you help me with that?
Sometimes I eat a little bit of chocolate chips. And when you're done mixing the stuff then I would lick the pot.
Mm-hmm.
And I help stir.
You do help stir. Ever since my kids were really little, I wanted to make the kitchen a positive and normal experience in their lives. I didn't want my kids to grow up with their mom being the only one who cooked in the house, and I didn't want them to get this idea that one person in the family cooks and that's it. I also really wanted to empower my boys to be self-sufficient and to be able to cook really, really well when they grow up. Now, of course, when they grow up and leave the house, they're gonna make their own choices about how much they cook, what they eat, all of that. And that's fine. They are their own human beings and they can make those decisions. But just like it is my job to teach them how to clean their room and brush their teeth, it's also my job to make sure that they can do some of the basic things to take care of themselves, like learning how to cook. Some of my kids will take this further than others. I have one kid who can make grilled cheese and quesadillas and, you know, his basic stuff that he loves, and he's not very interested in learning any more than that. I have another kid who loves baking and he gets super into making kind of his signature baking recipes, but he's not really into cooking like meat dishes and savory recipes. So when my 5-year-old is in the kitchen, he basically has two main chores. And those are to learn to be independent and take care of himself. So that might mean learning to get his own yogurt and blueberries and chia seeds for breakfast in the mornings. Or it could mean learning to get his own snack. So he will get his own banana, his own peanut butter, or an apple, and he knows how to use our little apple core, and that way he can get his own snacks whenever he's hungry. So his first job is to independently get himself food when he needs it. And we have a lower shelf in our fridge that typically that is where the kids' food goes. So in the mornings they know this is where the breakfast stuff is. At lunchtime they're like, this is where the lunch-ish stuff is. And we started doing that all the way when our kids were like 2 or 3. As soon as they could open the fridge, they knew that this is where their food or their drinks were, and it was all like kid-safe stuff that I was okay with them getting by themselves, and of course they needed to ask permission first, but that meant that I wasn't constantly getting them food or their water when they needed it. Not only did this give me a little bit of a break, but the main goal was to empower my kids to be independent, and the reality is that 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds love learning new skills like that, and they love feeling like they are in charge and they've got this control and this power, and it's really, really fun for them. So my kids loved having their own water bottle that they would take the lid off and they would fill up their little sippy cups and they would fill up their little water bottles with straws, and that was just something that they enjoyed and they never complained about, and it worked really well for our family. I learned this concept from a Montessori book, and basically the Montessori concept talks about different ways that you can kind of rearrange your home so that it is an inviting place for kids to learn and grow without someone needing to spoon feed them every step of the way. And because my kids are hungry about 300 times a day, learning how to set up our kitchen in a very kid-friendly, kid-safe way was a game changer. Another thing that I did was I put the plates and bowls and everything on a lower shelf. Just one of the lower cupboards that you would typically fill with pots and pans or something. Those are full of our plates and our bowls. That way the kids can get their own dishes. They can help set the table at meal times, and they're not waiting on me to get everything for them. They are perfectly capable of getting it for themselves. Whenever we go places where the plates and the bowls are too high up, my kids are always like, oh, this is so inconvenient, because they can't do it themselves and they're used to being able to just do it whenever they want. Jay, can you tell me some of the jobs that you do in the kitchen?
Stir.
Mm-hmm.
Put the tips in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I help pour the eggs. I mix the ingredients and I peel.
Carrots?
Yeah.
Can you help make salad?
Mm-hmm.
Do you rip the lettuce up?
Sometimes I do.
What's one of your favorite jobs when we use the shredder?
Shredding carrots and shredding cheese.
Yeah, you're a good cheese shredder, aren't you?
Ice cream, I put ice cream scoops on ice cream cones.
Guess what? I am so proud of how well you cook, and I love you, buddy.
I love you too.
Something that my 5-year-old brings to the table that the older kids just don't bring to it is an enthusiasm that cannot be matched. He is so excited to help me. He is ready to learn. He is very, very encouraging, and you just can't match a small child's enthusiasm in the kitchen. When I need help in the kitchen and I'm looking for someone to do some very small, simple tasks, my 5-year-old is the first one to volunteer. He does a fantastic job because the tasks are age appropriate and he has practiced them over and over again, and so he's really good at them. And he's still at that cute stage where everything is exciting and interesting and he loves doing things by himself. My older kids are willing and able and extremely helpful in the kitchen, but they cannot match the enthusiasm and excitement of my youngest. I'm a little biased because I think my 5-year-old is one of the cutest kids on the planet, but let's show you some footage of the different ways that he's had fun in the kitchen over the last year or so making YouTube videos with me.
Because look, 3 patches.
I'm waiting for you.
What?
I'm waiting for you.
You mean you love me?
Yes, I love you. That's what I mean. Go around the back. Ready? Ready?
Yep.
Okay. So what can a 5-year-old do in the kitchen? Keep in mind that kids aren't going to do these things perfectly the first time. Just like they're not going to brush their teeth perfectly the first time, just like I still need to remind my kids what exactly a clean bedroom means, it's the same thing with cooking, just like any other chore. And so my 5-year-old has gotten better and better over the years, but I don't expect him to do the jobs perfectly, and that's okay. I still don't do things perfectly in the kitchen. My 5-year-old can peel carrots and cucumbers, and he has learned, thanks to their Kids Cook Real Food course, how to do that safely, so that even though he's doing it under supervision, I also know that he knows exactly how to do it so that his fingers and everything is well protected. He can chop soft fruit like bananas or strawberries or things like that with a butter knife. He can stir, batter, or dough, or we're talking like pancakes, cornbread, muffins, cookie dough, things like that. He can rip lettuce into bite-sized pieces for salads. He can measure ingredients for like savory recipes where it's okay if the ingredients aren't exact, like spices or for salad dressing, chocolate chips, rice, any other kinds of grain. He can spread butter or peanut butter, and he can shred cheese. Some tools that are really handy with young kids are this apple corer. So you can see, you know, it's a little bit sharp right here, but it's not too sharp. I'm not afraid to stick my fingers on it. And he can just set the apple down and slide that over the apple, and it cuts them up no problem. I prefer if he does this under supervision, not totally by himself, just because we want to be careful and safe, but he's very independent with this. We like our younger kids to use this Y blade. It just makes peeling a little bit easier, a little bit safer, and he only uses this with long vegetables like carrots or cucumbers, things like that, where, you know, with an apple or a potato, it's gonna be more likely that you're going to accidentally cut yourself. But for things like carrots and cucumbers, you can just lay them on a cutting board, and the Kids Cook Real Food course teaches kids how to do it safely so that the blade always stays very far away from their fingers, and that's exactly what my 5-year-old does. We also like this julienne peeler. So it's the same Y shape as our regular peeler, but it makes like noodle shapes. So we'll do this for carrots for salads, or we can do this for zucchini noodles. A potato masher isn't just for mashed potatoes, so while yes, my 5-year-old is really good at making mashed potatoes with this, he can also use it to mash guacamole or to make egg salad. We just put the whole hard-boiled egg in the bowl with all the ingredients, and then he can just mash it up with this. Cheese and vegetables, we have a box grater, so they can easily set it down on the cutting board, and that way it just stays very secure, and he can go ahead and peel whatever he needs to, and it's really, really handy for young kids. So if you take all of those tasks that a 5-year-old can do in the kitchen, that means he can help me make tacos or salsa or salad dressing. He can help make all kinds of salads, a fruit salad. He can help me mix scrambled eggs or muffins, cornbread, pancakes, cookies. He can prepare like dessert hummus or regular hummus in our food processor, because with those recipes, he can measure ingredients and it's okay if they aren't exact. He can make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or regular sandwiches. He can help spread butter onto toast for breakfast. He can help me make meatballs or meatloaf. He can even help me make bread. So if you need someone to help you knead the bread, then 5-year-olds are very enthusiastic. It might not be the best kneading job, but it is so helpful and they have so much fun, and it helps them learn more about cooking and baking. Cooking is a really important skill that my kids can use for the rest of their lives. Just like I'm going to teach them how to brush their teeth and clean up their bedroom, I'm also going to teach them how to feed their bodies well. What my 5-year-old lacks in knowledge and ability, he makes up for in enthusiasm and encouragement, and what he knows how to do is really helpful in the kitchen. So moms of younger kids, I just want to encourage you that if you are holding off on teaching your younger kids because you're afraid it's going to be really stressful, or you're not sure what they are capable of, I want to encourage you to check out Kids Cook Real Food course, because some of their little foundational beginner classes will make a huge difference in your kids' independence in the kitchen, and it's just gonna make it really fun for them. Next, I just want to encourage you to just start playing with your kids in the kitchen. Find those little jobs that they can do really well, like grating cheese or peeling carrots and cucumbers or ripping lettuce, and let them practice those skills over and over and over again until they can do those things really well. I'm Steph from cheapskatecook.com. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it encourages you and inspires you to get your kids in the kitchen, hopefully helps you save some money, eat healthy, And a special thank you to kitchenstewardship.com for collaborating with us in this video. If you want to go back and read the footnotes or get the links and just kind of read the overview of this video, go ahead and hit the link in the description. And hit the like and subscribe button for more ways to save money and eat healthy. Don't forget to check out our younger kids to use this Y blade. It's just playtime. So when you have a 3 or 4 year old, there's a fly in here.
I usually makes sense.
Makes sense. I'm not picking my nose, I'm scratching. My
favorite food is roasted chicken beak.
Chicken beak? A lot. It's still here. Bleh, bleh, bleh. I think that fly's gone. I haven't seen him. Where are you? There it is.
I'm going after the tail. Ta-da!
Yep. I love you. Thank you for your help.
Please drop me because I need Band-Aid.